Hello, thanks for joining us again for another round of properties. Listen, we're going to be looking at a brilliant area in Ghana by the coast, just 1 hour down the coast on the way to Elmina Castle called Kokrobite. Now, if I pronounced that wrong, do forgive me. Do forgive me. My pronunciation is just getting a little bit better. But listen, before we go on and do this stream, listen, people are continually telling me that I'm not allowed to leave the UK and, and go and search for a better life. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at how many comments I get from people in my comments and in person that say things like, hey, you can't leave. How dare you leave? How dare you think that you're entitled to a better life? It's worse there. You got scammers there. You got scammers in Ghana and all over the African continent, just waiting for you, black oyabos, to come and so that they can scam you within an inch of your life. You don't know the language. You'd be surprised at how many things people say. Your own black brothers and sisters, how many things people say to try and dissuade you from leaving the UK. To try and dissuade you from leaving the West in search of a better life. If you are a black man, you'd be surprised. You'd be seriously surprised. And dare you say, as a black man, that, hey, I'm actually worth something. Dare you say that actually I've got high self-esteem. My self-esteem hasn't been beaten so low that I'm going to sit here and accept crumbs from the table. In terms of career, in terms of job, and in terms of personal relationship, in terms of how, you're being treated by the opposite sex in your country, by women in your own supposed so-called community. So what this stream is all about, right? And what the whole channel's been about, and what I'm going to be dealing with more going forward is just the whole thing about, looking forward, encouraging you brothers to look forward and understand this one basic specific point. Fellas, your community is global. You do not have to sit in your little part of the West, in your little job, right? Accepting basically the crumbs of life. You don't. If that's you, you don't. I'm not saying that all men are doing that, although I seem to, if I'm really honest with you, I really believe that most of us are, regardless of how much money you earn, regardless of the level of career you have. I think we're accepting the crumbs of life. That's what I think. So this channel is specifically targeted at men. Only the men that have thought about leaving, right, and going somewhere else. Now, I am focusing specifically on Ghana and the African continent. But obviously, you're at liberty to go where you want. But what for me it's all about is saying to yourself, as a black man, hey, you know what? I'm worth more than this. I am worth more than this, right? I'm worth more than this. I've got assets. I've got 2 pennies to rub together. And I can afford a life elsewhere. If nothing else, right, just exploring that thought that basically goes something like this. Surely life has to be better somewhere else. Surely there's got to be a better quality of life that I can access for myself, whereby I can have a better state of mind than the one that's been force-fed to me here. That is what this channel's all about, specifically for black men. I've said this before on this channel a few times now. Our mental health, as black people in general and black men in particular, is the same as it is for white people in the UK, elsewhere in the black world. So when you go to the African continent and when you go to the Caribbean, our levels of mental ill health in those places and spaces where we hail from is the same as it is for white people in the UK. And that's the way it should be. Our level of mental ill health in the UK as black men shouldn't be higher than anyone else. It shouldn't be higher than anyone else. Where do I get that from? I get that from a website called Mind, M-I-N-D. Yeah, go and check it out. They say it slightly differently to that. They're more politically correct. But the bottom line is that is what they say. So this channel is specifically aimed at men, at black men, who are looking to go and find them for themselves a better quality of life. A better quality of life. For the last few streams and for this one, I've been focusing on property, because let's face it, when we go somewhere else, we have to find somewhere to live. Now, you can rent if that's your thing. Personally, it's all about buying property as far as I'm concerned. It's an investment, long-term investment, one that you can leave to your lovely new Ghanaian or Nigerian or whatever, whatever wife in whatever country you happen to find yourself. And two, as far as I'm concerned, buying a property, you're putting money back in your pocket. When you rent, you're not. It's as simple as that. So I always focus on buying. But anyway, that is what this is all about. That's going to be the focus going forward. We're going to be looking at a lot of other areas and things that related to relocating, rather than arguing with a whole set of people, right? And, rather than arguing with your own women, i.e. black women, regarding things that other men get from their women that our women are not prepared to give to us. Why bother? I'm talking about black women in the West. I'm not talking about black women anywhere else. I'm not talking about black women on the African continent. I'm not talking about black women even in the Caribbean, right? Or South America, or any other women anywhere else outside of the West. I'm talking about Western black women. I'm talking about going and finding a set of women that are prepared to get on your page. I've got to be honest about it, right? So guys, it's not about looking at where we're coming from or looking at what's behind us. It's about looking at what's in front of us and the possibilities of that in terms of quality of life. But anyway, look, I keep getting asked the same question as to why I'm focusing on property, why I'm now focusing on shifting the channel to moving, looking at life abroad. But those are the reasons why. And honestly, I would entertain anyone who says you're doing the wrong thing, because I don't think I am. The world's a small place now. And if you are self-employed, or if you're a professional, effectively, the world is your oyster. You can go wherever you want. Doesn't have to be the African continent, although that's my choice. But you can go anywhere you want, fellas. Anywhere where you're more appreciated. Than where you are in your little bit of the West. But anyway, look, without further ado, what I'm going to do is this. So in this stream, we, as I said at the very beginning, before I went on my long rant, we're going to be looking at properties in along the coast in Ghana, on the way up to Elmina, 1 hour outside of Accra, in a place called Kokrobite. All right, Kokrobite. Great little place. You can actually see it on the. You can see it on the image on the Google map. Let me just find. Hopefully, you got that. You should have the Google map up. You should be looking at it now. Yes, you are. Excuse me. You should be looking at it now, and you are. So yeah, so that's Kokrobite. It's what you can see that it's generally speaking, 1 hour away, 30.6 kilometers. Don't ask me to translate that into miles. I really don't know. But yeah, 1 hour away from the center of Accra. It's pretty much on the coast. So that's where it is in relation to Accra. If I make the map a bit smaller, you can see. Make it a little bit smaller. You can see Cape Coast is where Elmina is now. So it's not that far. You know, it's and to be honest, the way that I drive, that's probably half an hour away from Accra. So let me, now that you know where it is, let me drop that down and I will bring up the first property. So let me drop that down and I will bring up the first property. Let's do that. And then let's do screen share. If I talk to myself, then I'll get it right rather than consistently getting this wrong. Here we go. Let's bring this lovely property up. And this is, I think this is a brilliant one. And this is the reason why I thought, let me do this stream. Let me drop that in. Okay, so you can see that. So, okay, so this is a 3-bed house for sale at Kokrobite. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. On the market or marketed through a company called Beach Breeze Estates. I'm assuming that's the name of the company. I think it's the name of the company. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the name of the company. And that is on for 1,500, I'll just say 1,000, yeah, 1,500 Ghana CDs. Now, I've already put that into my currency converter, right? And that is a mere 96.6 thousand pounds. Just say 97,000 pounds. For those that don't know, right, there is one pound is the equivalent of 15.5 Ghana CDs. I say that again. £1 is the equivalent to 15.5 Ghana CDs. All right. So, guys, it's never been a better time to buy land or houses or apartments or anything else from Ghana. And I'm going to make an assumption that all of the countries around Ghana, you've got a similar thing going on. I will be looking at houses in Togo and other countries as well. For those that don't know, Togo, Burkina Faso, they border on Ghana. Anyway, this particular house is in a gated community, so it's completely secure, and that's why I like it. 3 bedrooms, 4 washrooms, kitchen, laundry room, walk-in closet, swimming pool and bar. Hello. Guys, you got to enjoy where you're moving to. Swimming pool and bar, 24/7 security, CCTV and electric fence, a refreshing sea view, right? So that is the house. Now, look, you're getting a hell of a lot of house for the money, guys. You're getting a hell of a lot of house for the money. You could put this, just remember, most of the streams that I've done around property in Ghana, right? You could put them out on Airbnb. Or, you could live there. So you could Airbnb it before you move, before you completely relocate to Ghana. And you could put it on Airbnb and earn money from the get-go. Now, remember, this has got a swimming pool as well. So it's ideal for an Airbnb, right? So I'm not sure how many houses are actually in this complex. Now, obviously, this place may have gone. But the point I'm making is that there's loads of places like this. Ghana is a building site. There's loads of building going on all over Ghana. And that's completely positive because that means it's attracting investment. The country's booming. It is, regardless of what the West says, right? Honestly, regardless even, when you look at some of the figures, Accra, Ghana, right, and lots of African countries are booming. They're on the rise. They are on the rise. Don't let anybody tell you different. Honestly, it's the West's job to talk down the African continent. As far as I'm concerned, it's my job to talk it up. I want to make that clear. All right. And again, many may disagree with me. That's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But it's for me and men like me. Right. Okay, so this is a new build property and it's gorgeous. It's immaculate. I don't really like AstroTurf. I know a lot of people like it. A friend of mine, in fact, 2 friends of mine have got AstroTurf in their back gardens, and I'd prefer real grass. It just means you have to water it. And no doubt with AstroTurf, you don't have to actually. I'm with AstroTurf now because I'm not green-fingered at all, right? So yes, AstroTurf. You don't have to do anything. You can just lay it and leave it. Lay it and leave it, right? But this is a gorgeous place, and you get that lovely swimming pool and the bar. you would pay, if you're wondering how the communal areas are maintained, because obviously this is a, if you like, gated community of about, I think it's about 8 properties, 8 houses. You would no doubt pay a small service charge that would maintain the pool and the bar. That's generally how these things work. But this would be a brilliant Airbnb for the whole house. Now, remember, because it's between Accra and Elmina, right? It just means that anybody that took this on a Airbnb, if you were to put it on the Airbnb website, it's halfway between both attractions, Accra, Elmina, a bit further on to Busia Beach, and there's other beach fronts there and all the rest of it as well. So this is strategically placed for Airbnb, in my opinion. All right. So I think this property or something like it would be a brilliant investment for anyone looking to slowly relocate. And at that price point, right, £96,500. Not sure what that would be in USD. I think in USD that would be probably around about £115,000, £110,000, something like that. At that price point for a 3-bed house, that's amazing. That, I think, is amazing. That's an amazing price. That is an amazing price. Obviously, you'd have to do your due diligence in terms of what other bits and pieces are in and around Kokrobite. Obviously, as I've said in previous streams, in fact, in the last stream, it's your job to get a lawyer, solicitor, all of that good stuff. That is your job. All right. Got to be responsible. And it actually says there that the price is negotiable. So I'm hoping you could see that. Let me check. Yeah, you can. So the price is actually negotiable. That's what it says, right? So take advantage of that. Do it, offer cash, offer cash, give them a good cash price up front, right? And get some more money off. So that's 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 1 garage, fans, garage, swimming pool, security service, generator, water, reservoir, cooker, microwave. No doubt it's a fitted kitchen, air conditioning, refrigerator. It would be better, or it would have been good if we could have seen some more internal pictures of this. To me, it doesn't look like you're buying off plan. I think this looks like it's already been built. So I'm not sure why they didn't go inside and take some pictures. It's a bit strange. But anywho, that is our first property, and that is a good one. That is a good one. By the way, I'm on the Makwaza website, so you can go there and get the numbers and call the agents and all the rest of it. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's our first property. I think that's an amazing one. I think that is amazing. That's an amazing one. So what I'm going to do, let me remove that from the stage. Stop share that. Right. Okay. Let's go for our second one, which is going to be a completely different proposition. Let's do, all right, let's move that one out of the way. And let's do this one. Actually, no, let's do this one. Let's do this one. I can't actually remember this one. So, okay, so the next one, I'm going to be looking at it with you because I actually cannot remember the details of this one. So let's do it anyway. Right, let's add it in. Let's add it to the stage. Let's take it to the stage, as Parliament Funkadelic used to say. Right, okay, so all right, so this is one that I can't really remember actually. So it's going to feel like I'm looking at it for the first time with you. So this one's going for 4,126 Ghana cedis, or if we just say 4,127 Ghana cedis, right? And if I put it into the currency converter really quickly, what does it say? What does it come out as? All right, so 4,127 Ghana cedis it's a little bit more. It's £265,000. Let's say £266,000. So this is a lot more of an expensive property. A lot more of an expensive property. So for that kind of money, right? I thought I wouldn't normally look at a house like this, but let's just see what you get for this kind of money, right? So personally, I'm I'm expecting a really hot property for that kind of money. Because if I'm really honest with you, for the UK, for London, £300,000 isn't anything, right? For £300,000, you're looking at a 1-bed flat if you're lucky, right? In London, you're looking at a 1-bed flat in London if you're lucky. That is what £300,000 gets you in the UK, in London. But in Ghana, £300,000 should get you a hell of a lot more. And let's just check that you can actually see it. Yes, you can. All right, let's have a look at this one. Okay, so straight away you get a swimming pool, right? Okay, so hopefully, there's going to be some daytime shots. So you get a pool. That looks like wood flooring. So the flooring gets a thumbs up. Wood flooring isn't cheap. Proper parquet wood flooring is actually quite expensive, actually. Okay, all right, I get it now. All right, so that's a view. So it looks like this house is right on the seafront, right? That might not be for everyone, but it's for me personally. So it looks like you get a swimming pool bang in front of the seafront. Now, I must say, sometimes, the last time we were in Ghana, if the house isn't built a certain way, then things like the window frames, if they're made out of a certain metal or not made out of a certain metal, then sometimes it can corrode. Also, if the actual breeze blocks is either not treated with a certain coating or of a lower quality, sometimes the sea salt, the sea air, right, can erode that too. So you've got to be really careful. So those are the things that you would have to check out regarding any property bang on the seafront. I need to make that really crystal clear. And I saw that with my own eyes as well. We stayed at a lovely woman's house, or we visited rather, a lovely woman's house in, where was that? In Pram Pram, I think it was. No, was it Pram Pram or was it going down a bit further? I think it was, no, it was in Pram Pram. So we visited with her. She was about 70 years old. I'm not going to say her name. Some of you may know her if you're familiar with that part of Ghana. But, she was very forthcoming regarding how the metalwork on her windows had begun to corrode because they hadn't used a certain type of metal. So that's one thing. Those kind of things are the things that you've got to be cognizant about. But this place looks nice, right? So you've got a pool bang on the seafront, and that's a private pool, and looks to be a huge area as well. This is what you're getting for. All right, okay. I wonder if that outside jacuzzi comes with the with the house. For that kind of money, I'm going to make an assumption it does. Otherwise, why put it in the picture, right? So I'm going to make an assumption you're getting your own private outside jacuzzi. I've always wanted one of these things, right? If you've not used one, you need to use one. These things are lovely, right? These things are absolutely gorgeous. I did a thing years ago called Forest Holidays in the UK, and you can pay a little bit of extra money for an outside jacuzzi. Brilliant. Okay, lovely kitchen, sizable kitchen as well. That looks like huge granite worktops, massive fridge. That looks like the cooker. Hopefully you can see where my cursor is. So that's a sizable kitchen. That's a sizable kitchen. Right, yeah, this is a big house. So okay, so you're getting a lot of house for the money. With glass banisters, if you want to use the word banister. That doesn't really make sense when you talk about glass side rails or whatever. Use the old-fashioned word called banister. I think we've seen that picture. Oh, is that no, that's a different bedroom with a 4-poster bed. I'm going to make an assumption the furniture comes with the house. Why the hell would you want to move a 4-poster bed out of a house? You'd have to dismantle that and move it. What's the point? I tried that once, and it's not advisable to do. So this is oh, that's nice. Oh, that's the kitchen. That's the other side of the kitchen. So this is huge. This place is huge. That's the other side of the kitchen. I wonder if that's the whole living space there. That looks like a bit of a sofa. So, oh wow. So that's nice. That must be Paul's side. So you get clearly you get a massive outside area. Yeah. This cannot be the whole house. All for you, it can't be. I think this is 1, 2, 3 different houses. I might be wrong, but I think it's 3 different houses. So that is a lovely house. All right, let's read this because I just want to make sure it's not a communal pool. Doesn't say it is. Okay, let's read it. Dive into luxury with this fully furnished beachfront villa, which boasts 3 spacious bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, guest washroom for added convenience, and an open plan kitchen, perfect for gourmet evenings. Don't know what the word gourmet actually means, but anywho, it sounds fancy. Right? Elevate your relaxation on the rooftop terrace with a jacuzzi and retreat to tranquility in your private backyard. That's what I wanted to make sure that was actually all yours. Private backyard garden, where coastal elegance meets modern luxury. Nice. Whether you seek a vacation, a summer home, or a savvy investment for impressive returnees or returns, this is the ideal property. Furnished, 3 bedrooms, all en suite, guest bathroom, fully fitted kitchen, inbuilt wardrobe, swimming pool, rooftop. That must be your own private pool then. Rooftop jacuzzi, terrace, private back garden, water reservoir, backup generator, 24-hour security. So I mean that's good as well, actually. 24-hour security. Facility management on site, ready to experience beachfront elegance. Contact Gaps Ghana today to schedule a viewing or for inquiries. So that one looks to be a good property as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Let's read on. Air conditioning, cooker, washing machine, refrigerator, microwave, internet, DSTV, garden, garage, annex, boys' quarters. That's basically, for those that don't know, when we say boys' quarters, we don't literally necessarily mean a boy. In the UK, we might use the phrase groundsman. Right? Swimming pool, security service, generator, water reservoir. Nice. So for £300,000, right, you get a beachfront house, right, with a big beachfront house with a jacuzzi, a lovely. I mean, basically, it's big. That's what it is. Well decorated, well managed, well maintained, in a great area by the sea. It's on a higher level to anything we've looked at on this channel. That's really what it is for £300,000 in Kokrobite. Okay. So this is a nice one. That is a nice one. I would say that this is the kind of house, right, that you look at when you've got firm plans to relocate. That's what this one is. This is the kind of house that you look at when you've got firm plans to relocate. Imagine this. You could actually live on site and this could be your business. You could actually rent it out as a guest house. You could live on site and literally, manage it on, from living there as a guest house. That's what you could do. The rooms could be individual. You could live in 1 bedroom and the 2 other bedrooms could literally be for Airbnb. No doubt. Remember it's got boys' quarters. That could be for Airbnb as well. Right. So there's different ways, different things you could do with this to literally make it pay for itself. All right. So I think this is a good one. That is why I wanted to look at it. That's a good one. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Remember, guys, what this is all about is about men relocating. That's what this is all about. This is about men relocating on their own or maybe with their families. That is what this one's all about. All right. And remember, don't let anyone tell you guys that you can't. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Don't let anyone tell you as a fella that, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go back to Africa for? What's there? There's nothing there. They're just going to rip you off. They're all a bunch of scammers. Why do you want to go? Why do you want to go? Stay here with us and put up with the foolishness. Stay here and be a second-class citizen. Stay with us. You don't have to. Seriously, no. Life is far too short, right, to be a second-class citizen in someone else's country. Life is far too short. Life is too short, and you're worth more. The moment you begin, guys, to understand the meaning of the word self-esteem, the moment you begin to understand what that actually means, right? And when you say that word, when you're looking in the mirror, when you're looking into your own eyes in the mirror, you could be in your car, you could get the wing mirror, the rear view mirror, point it to yourself and say the phrase self-esteem, right? You don't even have to say, I've got self-esteem. Just say the phrase, just say self-esteem. The more and more you say that is the more and more you understand how much of it you got, right? But as yours begins to grow, it's the less crap you realize that you should be taking from other people. Life is actually a layer cake, right? In the West. But if you don't like your position in that layer cake, leave. It's not for everyone, but don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to stay here and take nonsense from people who hate you. And I'm not just talking about the host population. I'm talking about your women as well, the women in your group. And that's who I'm talking about. Yeah, that is who I'm talking about. But anyway, let me drop that lovely lady down and let me bring up another lovely looking lady, right? This is a different property. And I've got to say, I did actually pick these properties a while ago, right? So some of these I actually can't remember. So I'm looking at these again, especially the last one. I'm looking at these with fresh eyes. I've just looked at the chat. Mandrel, good to have you aboard. Adangbi, good to have you aboard, bro. Both of you, good to have you here. Let me just read out what people have said so far. Mandrel says that's a really good deal. I'm not sure what property you was talking about, Mandrel, but absolutely all of them I think were good deals. Mandrel also writes, London prices sound like the prices in New York. Absolutely. Listen, London prices are the same as they are in New York. The same, absolutely the same. If anything, right, it's probably more expensive in London, probably more expensive in the UK. Rents, which is why I don't agree with renting. And don't get me wrong, I think, if you have to rent, you have to rent. I'm not knocking that. I'm really not. But London prices I would say, are higher than they are in New York. And maybe I might do a live where I do a bit of a comparison just for fun. I'm not sending any of you brothers to go and live in New York. Why bother? And I'm not telling any of you brothers to come and live in London. Why bother? Listen, New York and London are great for a party. They're great to go and have fun. You got a whole heap of nightclubs, although you used to have more. Some of them are shut down. I've got a load of great bars in London and New York and LA. You've got brilliant bars. You've got good nightlife. You got a load of women that basically want to have fun, right? All of those things are great. You can come into work. You can earn, lots of money in the city, although it probably will be going on rent, right? So all of those things are great. If you want to continue doing that up into your 50s, that's great. Right. But if you want to do, there's a time in your life for partying and having fun, right? I'm talking about doing that. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. No, how did I say it? Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, right? That is great, right? But are you going to continue doing that until what age? Do you know what I mean? You know, guys also, listen, have a hot girls. Guys have a hot guy summer, right? But how long are you going to keep on doing that? Up until what age? Up until you're 60. Right? And that's okay. If that's what you want to do, that is fine. That is absolutely fine. I started going out to nightclubs, and I'm not lying to you. I started going out to nightclubs when I was about what age? When I was about 11, literally, actually younger than that. These, you know, there was a club up in Stratham called the Cat's Whiskers. Go and check it out. And then there was another one called Tiffany's in Wimbledon. Go and check it out, right? And we started doing that. They were under 18s discos, but effectively we started going out when we were really, really young, especially, you know, as well as gallivanting around Carnival and all the other things, Notting Hill Carnival and all the other things that were going on in London, all the all-dayers and all the rest of those bits and pieces. You know, the Lyceum in the Strand, going there underage, and obviously all of these sort of hip hop jams and all that back in the day, right? By the time I got to about 25, I was bored. By the time I got to 25, I was bored because we had been going out for nearly 15 years. And it got to the point, standing up in a party, listening to the same records, right? With the same group of women-ish. I just got to thinking, I've been here before, I've done it before, and I need to go and do something else. That's the God's honest truth, man. I need to go and do something else. I need a different scene. Going abroad, right, gives me a different scene. It's not for everybody. It's not. It is not for everyone. Everyone's got their own, every man has got their own path, and that's the way it should be. Right? This is for men who want a different path in a different country, or at least are thinking about it and looking at the pros and the cons of it. That's what this one's all about. That is what this one's all about. All right, I'll shut up now. Let's get back on track. You see what happens when I look at the chat, right? You guys take me completely off track, right? But nice, welcome, man. Adangby writes, crummy London houses for holy for money. Listen, even a shoebox in London, right, costs a lot of money. Even a shoebox in London, right, costs a lot of money. Honestly, right? I was looking in an estate agent window the other day, and you know, honestly, in London, literally, as Adangby writes, even a shoebox, honestly, costs a whole heap of money. I mean, it's great if you've got a place and you're looking to sell it and move somewhere else, because there's a whole heap of people that want to live in London and are prepared to pay a whole heap of money to come here to live. There's a whole heap of people that want to pay a whole heap of money, a whole heap of foreigners, Europeans, and now a whole heap of white Americans that want to pay, and Japanese as well, and Chinese and Russians, right? And a whole heap of rich Russians, right? And rich Chinese, right? Champagne socialists coming from China, right? That want to pay a whole heap of money, and I mean that with love, that want to pay a whole heap of money to come and live in London. And that's great. Look, each to their own. London, the UK, is open for business. It's just time for me to go somewhere else. Right, okay, so let us look at our next property. I've already got it up anyway, right? So I was ranting and I was just 1 inch tall. Okay, all right, let's get serious again and let's look at this next property, all right? Okay, so we're still in Kokrobite by the sea in Ghana, 1 hour away from Accra, right? So I do remember this one now. I do like this property. That's a communal swimming pool. Really, really nice, actually. And again, these are all by the sea. This one is clearly well maintained. Slightly smaller kitchen, but small in comparison to the last one. I don't really like all this marble. I mean, I know it's somebody's cup of tea, but all this marble, no doubt it's all expensive. I mean, a lot of this marble, they ship it in from Italy. That's what they do, right? And I mean, no doubt it's someone's cup of tea. Personally, I would probably end up changing the kitchen. That's probably what I would do. Good sizable, and again, this is a new build. So you get these, I love the way they do their ceilings. Totally love the way they do their ceilings. I'm wondering if the furniture comes with this one as well. And it's interesting, isn't it? A lot of these houses that you buy, a lot of these new builds, the actual furniture comes with the property, which I think's good. Right? This one is not, doesn't appear, well, that'd be a three or four seater sofa. This area doesn't appear to be that big to me. I love the ceilings. Love these ceilings. But you're going to get a lot of natural light coming in through these windows. Living room can be bigger. Walk-in closet. I mean, that is great. I mean, no doubt, if you've got a wife, right, this is all going to be taken up with her clothes. It's all good, man. A walk-in closet. So, I mean, that's a nice yard area, like that. Okay, and that would be an electric gate. That would be an electric gate. Yeah. Excuse me. Right, and hopefully you can see that properly. You get a pool to dip in, and again, you know, all of these would be great and amazing for an Airbnb. The property is over here somewhere. So no doubt, I think there's about 3 or 4 in a row, and I'm going to make an assumption this is a communal area for all of those houses, a private pool for those houses. What would that would mean? This is a maintained area. That's a seating area under a canopy. Nice. It's all right. Okay, let's read about this, shall we? So, okay, so it's unfurnished. So unfurnished 4-bed townhouse for sale in Kokrobite. Location, Kokrobite, Accra, Ghana. It says Accra. So I suppose that comes under Greater Accra. So it's still the Accra postcode. It says they're 280,000 USD. So that means, that's interesting. All right, so if that's 280,000 USD, that means it's that's about 240,000 pound. So maybe I did the currency conversion incorrectly. Well, I made it 265,000 British pounds. That is what I made it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. So, fully air conditioned, fully equipped kitchen, swimming pool, standby generator, solar powered. That's brilliant. That is. Hopefully, you can read that. Solar powered and ECG. Don't know what ECG means, but I love the fact that I think the house is solar powered. That I've never seen that. Well, at least in Ghana, looking at property, that's the first time I've seen that a house is solar powered. Gated and secured compound, brilliant. Kitchen extractor, living dining area, inbuilt wardrobe, payment option available. That's good. Outright payment available as well. Sea view from the building, 3 units available. So that means it's set back. I'm going to make an assumption it's set back some way from the sea. I'd like to know exactly where. You'd have to be in Ghana to see it, or ring up the estate agent. 3 units available. No doubt, if you rang the estate agent, they would just send you a map. All the rooms en suite. So this would be brilliant, really, for an Airbnb, or, you know, for your personal relocation house as well. And again, just like the last property, you could live there and be the living. It could be like, what would you call it? What do we call it in the UK? A guest house. All right. So again, this could literally be your business. Yeah. This could literally be your business in Ghana. Right. So you don't necessarily, and I want to make this clear as well, you know, the whole thing about relocating to another country or relocating to an African country, you're not going there to look for a job. You're going there to literally set up a business. All right. It could be a bar. It could be a nightclub. It could be, as I said, to run a guest house. I'm suggesting you could run a guest house with this property and the last one. Yeah. You're going to set up a business, and there's loads of different businesses you could set up. That's about you, your skill set, and your imagination. That's what that one's all about. All right. So I think this is quite a nice property. I think this is quite a nice one. And remember, you know, you're only a short distance from the sea. You're 1 hour away from Accra, the center of Accra, from the airport. Yeah. A couple of hours away from Elmina Castle. Yeah. Where those 4 African-American women decided to twerk. All right. Oh, Lord have mercy. Right. But I think this is quite a nice property. I think this is a gorgeous one, fellas. What do you think? Comments in the comments down below. I think that is a nice one. Again, this is on the Makwaza website. The name of the agent is, hopefully you can see that, Shelter Mart Properties. If you're interested, do ring them up. And I want to make it clear, I am not getting any kind of commission for this. No commission at all. I might ring them up and ask for some. Right? I'm doing this because, listen, I'm just trying to, as I said at the very beginning of the stream, just trying to say, hey, you know, we've got options. We've literally got options. And, you know, the Black community is global. Global. It's not just in your little part, in my little part of the West. It's global. Yeah. And it might just be, you know, that you go somewhere else and you're slightly more appreciated. That might be your story. I think it would be. So basically, if you're interested, contact Shelter Mart Properties. There's the number. Yeah. +233 24 49 105 or +233 30 29 006. All right. And in any case, the price is negotiable. That price is negotiable. And I would say, you know, if you're not used to bartering, get used to it. Get used to barter on everything. Don't let look, if you go abroad to any country, even in the UK, right? Treat it as if you're going down the Saturday morning market. Treat it as if you're going down the Ripple Road market, although there's no market there anymore. Treat it as if you're going down the market at Clapham Junction. Actually, there's no market there either. Treat it as if you're going down Brixton Market. Oh, actually, there's no market there either. Treat it as if you're going down some market somewhere. Right? Seriously, treat it as if you're going down some market somewhere. Adangby writes, London and New York City have great people who have money. Yeah, London and New York City have great people, are great for people who have money. Absolutely. But honestly, Adangby, right? Believe it or not, most of the people that are actually buying the new build property in London, most of them are overseas buyers. Most of them are they're Arabs in Dubai, or they're Chinese. They're overseas rich people buying investment properties in London. That is what's going on. I'm not talking about on the outskirts of London. I'm talking about whenever you see properties getting, apartments or houses getting snapped up, right? Whenever you see that, yeah, going on in London, the people that are buying those properties, they live overseas. Very few of them are actually, you know, UK citizens, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with it. I'm just pointing it out. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. That's just the way it is. Adangby also writes, no bars or clubs in Accra, please. Yeah, what's wrong? What's wrong with the bars and clubs in Accra, man? What's wrong with them? They're good bars. They're actually really nice bars, honestly. Most of the Accra markets are like Brixton's old markets. Yeah, absolutely. That's what they are. It's true. Most of the markets in, well, at least the couple that we went to, we went to a couple of markets in Accra, one down at Tema, and I think we went to markets in Tamale as well. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, that's what they're like. And in fact, if I'm really honest with you, that is exactly what it reminded me of. You know, it reminded me, the markets in Ghana, honestly, reminded me of the markets that my mum used to drag me to when I was a little kid. You know, at the moment, Wodamaya is actually in Jamaica, so he's been going around with his camera, and it's been really interesting looking at those markets in Jamaica, because that is exactly what Brixton Market used to be. I mean, Brixton now, for those that don't know, has been completely and utterly gentrified, right? And don't get me wrong, the old Brixton Arcade is actually really, really nice. I like it, but it's not the same as it was when we were kids. It could be Brixton now could be Shoreditch, for those that don't know, Shoreditch for art students, right, and drunk art students. And I don't have an issue with drunk art students, but it's full of drunk art students. Hoxton is full of drunk art students. And again, I love art students. I love art. Brixton is like Hoxton, Hackney, Shoreditch, all of these places. And that is what Brixton is now. It is not a African Caribbean community that disappeared, I think, about 15 years ago. Danby writes, it's not John Major's Brixton. Come on, man. John Major, he must have left Brixton about 50 years ago. John Major's, come on, John Major's Brixton. John Major's Brixton. John Major. How the hell did you know John Major grew up in Brixton, man? You've been reading too much. People are gonna begin to think that we're articulate. Listen, Adangbi, everybody thinks that we're inarticulate, and that is our secret weapon. The black man's secret weapon is everybody else thinks he's stupid. That is our secret weapon, believe it or not. Honestly, I'm completely joking. Actually, no, I'm not. I did watch a film years ago called God, what was it called? It had Al Pacino in it, and he was playing a really nasty character. Basically, he was playing the devil, and it had Keanu Reeves in it. Right? I know the black women of my generation used to utterly love Keanu Reeves. Right? They used to call him Kiani, and I kid you not. Years ago, I dated a Nigerian doctor, 20 something years ago. She loved Keanu Reeves, loved him, worshipped the ground he walked on. Anyway, these two were in a film, right? I can't remember, some film where Al Pacino played the devil, right? And he said one line. He said, "Never let them see you coming." The fact that some people think black men are stupid is our secret weapon. Let's move on. Let's move on, man. Right, okay. So let's bring up our third one. Right, okay. So I've got to do that. Let's bring up our third one. I want to make sure I get the right one. You know what? Let's look at. Should we look at this one? Have I looked at? No, I've looked at that one. Looked at that one already. Let me get rid of that. And I've looked at that one already. Let's get rid of that. So okay, this is going to be our third and final one. Excuse me. Right. Okay. Let's share that one. Now again. Okay. So this one is. Let me drop it in. Let's drop it in. Let's drop it in. All right. Add that in. Let's make it nice and big. Okay, so, right, this is our third and final one. So this is a lot bigger property. Now, this is a different proposition, you lot. Right, this is a 7-bedroom furnished house for sale in Kokrobite. Right, now this is purely, no, okay, not purely. You could use it as your place of residence and not do any business there. But the reason why I wanted to look at this is because I'm purely thinking about a guest house. You living on site and running a guest house. Now, remember, if you go to Ghana, it's not about getting a job when you're there. It's about providing employment for yourself. That's what it's all about. Possibly hiring Ghanaians. Yeah. Basically providing, adding value to the place where you're going to be going. That is what this one's all about. So this is going for 6,252 Ghana cedis. Just call it 6,253 Ghana cedis. Let's see what that is when we convert it. When we convert it, it's going to be Actually, let's just see what it is. Okay, so that is, so 6,253,000 Ghana cedis is £402,000. £402,000. £402,000. That is what it is. Now, some of you are going to say, well, I could build a house for a hell of a lot less than that. And it's true. We're going to be looking at land as well. We're going to be looking at building. What I want to do, what I will be doing is getting an architect on and looking at what it costs to build. We're going to be doing all of that as well. But I just thought it'd be interesting just to see what it costs to buy property as it is. All right. So £402,000. And remember, that's negotiable. All right. So what do we get for that money? What do we get? And remember, this is by the seafront. So you get 7 bedrooms, and think of it, try to think of it in terms of business. All right. Try to think of this one in terms of business. So this is an established property. This is not a new build. So you get a sizable swimming pool. You get clearly what is an established garden. Quite nice, actually. All right. You get what is an established flora and fauna, trees, basically. Just trying to sound posh, right? You get whatever that is. I'm assuming that's sort of what we would call an outhouse. Actually, no, not an outhouse. It's a bad term, right? You get an outbuilding. Basically this environment's beautiful. I'm not sure what the hell that is. Looks like, is that a playground? Or is something there anyway? This is one that you basically got to be there and have a look at. Okay, so the current owners use this space this is the outbuilding as a yoga studio. So if you run any kind of classes, if you do martial arts, if you do anything, if you want to run seminars, if you do health and wellness, anything like that, this affords you a space to do it in. All right. So it could be a retreat whereby, if you got it on Airbnb, you could say, we also do this service, we run these classes. It might even be that people come to your place specifically to experience the workshops in whatever area or field that you put on. All right. Remember, you're going there to set up a business. I'm assuming this is the inside of that yoga studio. So you've got vinyl floor. That obviously you'd want to probably take away all that. You've got supporting pillars. This is a nice environment, and this could double as your if you were running it as a guest house, this may or may not double as your restaurant. Okay, so the rooms are what they would be for this age of property with en suites. If it were me, I'd zhuzhy up the furniture a little bit. That's just what I would do personally. All right, so it's quite standard. I must admit, for myself, I just love the exterior of this building personally, and I love the fact that it's got established trees. I just really think it's quite nice. You may just want to renovate the actual bathrooms. Just bring them up to spec. But what you're getting a lot of space. That's what you're getting. And also you're getting what appears to be a lot of land as well. That's basically what you're getting. All right, so let's have a little bit of a read about that, about this one. So hopefully you can see this. Now, remember this, we started off looking at apartments in the last few streams, right? We've looked at houses as well in previous streams in Accra. We've looked at houses and apartments in East Legon, and East Legon Hills. This is really the furthest out of Accra that we've looked, and we're not out of Accra. I suppose this is classed as Greater Accra. So what do you get? You get, for the money, you get a secure location, modern interior works. Not sure about that. I'd want to redo it. Large green area and a pool. House is well built and kept. Property comes with 3 plots. Okay, so 3 plots. So you're getting a whole heap of land. That is big. Property. Oh, right. Okay. So I wonder if the actual property is built on the 3 plots, or if you're getting 3 plots as well as the house. Does that make sense? Now, if you're wondering how big a plot is, if it's the current size plots, I think, don't quote me on this, I think a plot is 100 times 70. Is that right? I probably got that wrong, but it's a hell of a lot of land. 3 plots is a lot of land. That is a lot of land. Modern interior works, double kitchen, well fitted, ideal for individuals, expats, investors, oil and gas stuffs. Don't know what that means. Ministers, etc. Some of that, I don't know what they mean by that, but basically they're just trying to say that it's a versatile property. Property is being used as a hotel. There you go, but it comes with a residential area as well. Our facility already hosts clients like America Embassy, Holland Embassy, France, etc. The market figures speak for itself. So it's already been, there you go. So it's already been used as a guest house. 10. Property is 1 mile from the beach. So basically it's a walk from the beach. And all of that, so you're getting 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, drive space for 12 cars, air conditioning, cooker, washing machine, fan, swimming pool, security service, generator, water, reservoir, fridge, microwave, internet, DSTV, garden, garage, boys' quarters, and the roof terrace in Kokrobite. And you're getting all of that. You're getting all of that for 400 British pounds negotiable. That is what you're getting, guys. That's what you're getting. And as I'm going to keep saying, you're viewing this, trying to understand or trying to picture, trying to imagine a new life for yourself and how you're going to make money. All right? Does that make sense? Are we allowed to dream? Are we allowed to think of the future, guys? Are we allowed to extend our horizons, or at least look to the horizon? Are we allowed to look forward rather than just looking at where we are? Are we allowed to look forward and not behind us? Are we allowed to revel in our own self-esteem? Not self-conceitedness, no, self-esteem. Are we allowed to esteem ourselves and say that we're worth something? Are we allowed to? I mean, I want to make it clear as well. Obviously, this is all about having assets in whatever country you are in. This is about liquidating possibly some of those assets. This is about men that have money. Have some money. Not talking about rich men. I'm just talking about men that have some money, have assets, have property, have an inheritance. That's what this one's all about. That is what this one's all about. Yeah? That's what this one's all about. That's what this one's all about. Yeah? Okay. When was it built? Adangby asks, when was this one built? Good question. And I've noticed that on some of these properties, it basically doesn't say. I mean, that is a very good question. When was this one built? It doesn't say. It doesn't say. That would be about ringing the estate agent, looking at the property, because sometimes you could tell by looking at the property. I mean, obviously in the UK, it's easy to tell a Victorian house. It's easy to tell a 1930s house. I've had both. It's easy to tell those things. Looking at this property, right, and looking at the trees and the flora and fauna and all the rest of it, I would say this property is about anything from 30 to 40 years old. Looking at the actual property, about 30 years old. I mean, you could tell because the trees are established, and I mean, it's probably older than that actually, because trees don't grow like that in 30 years, do they? If I were to say, but then now, I mean, these hand basins and that don't go back to the 80s. So I would say this is a mid-90s house. I think it's about a mid-90s house, in my opinion. I mean, parts of it may go back earlier, but I would say, which it probably does actually, but I would say it's probably like about a mid-90s house. But that's a brilliant question. Why don't they put it on the information. I mean, you could obviously get the information by ringing the agent. Yeah. Obviously, do your due diligence when you buy property abroad. Always go for a solicitor, preferably a solicitor that works in your country and the country that you're looking to buy the property in. And do not, well, go for a solicitor, and they will tell you, they will direct you on how you should go about doing what you're doing. No money changes hands until the very end of the process, and only when every last detail and paperwork and everything is 100% in place. And even before you approach a property conveyancer solicitor, you should really do your due diligence. And, you know, it goes without saying, you need to visit the country on a number of occasions, right? Prior, and, you know, maybe even rent in that property, sorry, in that country for a little while before, you know, just to make sure that it is for you. All right. And have a clear plan how you're going to make money. Have a clear plan how you are going to make money. It's important, you know, to have a clear plan about that. All right. That is important. That is important. Let's have a quick look just to see if there's anything else worth looking at. I don't think I had anything else. I don't think I had anything else for you guys. Okay, let's drop that down. Let's drop it down. Let's drop that down. Let's drop it down. Stop sharing that. Okay. All right, brilliant. All right, listen, in the next one, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be looking at an area called Ada. Ada. You may remember that me and the wife went there. God, when did we go? Was it just after? No, last year. We were there last year. All right. Lovely area, lots and lots of water. I have found a few properties that are actually on the waterfront, and we went there with a view to actually looking at property. But the agents, one agent in particular, sort of let us down, and in the end, we just sort of, you know, I think we spent about two days there, which is really, really nice. But I've since found some properties and some land that I'm going to be looking at, I think, in the next stream. I think I'm going to be doing that because, one, it's cheaper than what I thought it was going to be, considering that it's actually bang on the seafront, right? I've took a little bit of video as well, so I'll be showing the video. I think I'm going to try to do that stream tomorrow evening. I'm going to try and do it tomorrow evening. All right. So yeah, just to be clear, we're going to be looking at Ada, which is about, I think that's about an hour and a half. 1 minute, never eat shredded wheat. Right, an hour and a half east of Accra. That's what it is, right? So we're going to be looking at Ada, right? So for those of you that are interested in that, yes, hopefully you got something from that. Who's in the chat? So we've got Adangbi, and apologies for not checking the chat a lot more than what I should do. I don't know if you're still with us, Mandrill. Yeah, I'm not sure who else is here. But yeah, so hopefully you got something from that, and just remember, right? It is emigrating abroad, relocating abroad is not for all of you. It's not for all of us. It's not for all men. It's not, right? This is not about trying to tell guys that, hey, if you don't go, then something's wrong with you. No, it's not about that at all. It's simply about saying, hey, guys, this is another option. It is another option. If you're like me, right, and you're at the time in your life where you feel it's right to add value to a community somewhere else. If you're like me and you realize that actually there is no more community, no more Black community in the place and space where you've been living all your life, if you're like me and you want to offer your children or your daughter or your son a different experience where they have the chance of having a lifelong, where they have a better chance of having a lifelong marriage, right? Marriage. If you're like me and you basically want to, we say in R&B, I've just seen you come on. If you're like me and you want to offer that to your children, right? Offer actual honest community, right? If you're that way inclined, then you may want to think about, going to a non-Western country, But what it's going to do is it's going to mean that you're going to have some level of asset to take with you. It's as simple as that. It might be about you remortgaging your current house. It might be about you using some of that inheritance money that you got from your grandparents who have just sadly passed on, right? Or you might be like me, and your parents may have just passed on, right? And you might have some level of finances that you've just gotten from that. It could be anything. It could be that you've got a property portfolio in the UK or somewhere else, and you're thinking to yourself, you know, let's see what it's like in a different country. Or it could be anything. You know, it literally could be anything. And, you know, so that's an ideal situation. Or it just might be that you're a newly qualified doctor, you're a newly qualified accountant, you're a newly qualified dentist, you're a newly qualified whatever. You know, you may not have your own property or much money. In fact, you may have a whacking great big student debt, but you're professional, and that is your asset. Your skill set is the thing that you can take with you, right, on that aeroplane. And you could literally use that to set up a business when you go abroad, right? But the point is, you are going to need some sort of asset to take abroad. You know, personally, it's going to be, I believe anyway, it's going to be kind of tricky to take your, I'm not going to speak in Jamaican, but it's going to be kind of tricky to take your two hands and nothing else and try to have a life somewhere else in another country. That's going to be hard. That's going to be tough. It may be safer for you to build your skill set, build your asset set in the country where you are before you think about going somewhere else. That may or may not be easier to do. It's just my opinion. Just my opinion. But going forward, guys, we're going to be looking at life overseas. We're going to be looking at going somewhere else. We're going to be not just going there just for a bit of skirt. No, I'm talking about relocating to countries. In this case, Ghana, Togo, Nigeria. Going to be looking at Nigeria. Right, could be anywhere. Burkina Faso, right, where 50% of my DNA comes from, right, and I'm proud to say that now. I'm actually proud to say that, right. So we're going to be looking at a lot of African countries and looking at the opportunities in those countries, and also what we, right, what we as men going back to these countries. I use the phrase going back. What we can contribute to these countries as well. Right. But what it's going to take, and I've said this before on a few of my streams, it will be about leaving, right, this programming in here. And I'm saying this to myself as I bang my bald head. It's going to be about leaving some of this programming or all of this programming at the airport, right, at Heathrow, at Gatwick, at Stansted, right, at Dundee Airport, if there is an airport in Dundee, right, at Glasgow Airport, right, if anybody lives up in Glasgow is going to be watching this. It's going to be about leaving that program in here, right, so that we don't mess up and screw up the countries where we're going to. That, honestly, that's what it's going to be about. Don't be one of these guys, right, that takes whatever's up here to another country to infect it. The people there don't need it, right? And the whole thing about learning languages, I'm terrible at learning languages, but I do know that it's a journey that I'm on the journey anyway, but we've got, I'm saying this to myself, not just to you guys. I have to learn tree, if I'm pronouncing that right. We've taken some lessons already, and in fact, I may do a live about that, whereby we do a tree lesson together. That'd be interesting because I got the information. We paid for the information, so I might as well just bring up here. We could do a tree lesson together. we could do that for fun. Yeah, man, I agree. Adangbi, I do agree with you. Adangbi writes, Burkina Faso needs to stabilize first. Absolutely, it does. But you know what? Honestly, I thank God for that young man who's taken power, because the people wanted it. The people were being ripped off by the previous Burkina Faso government. And it took, how old was he? 34, 35, 36. Him and his people, his generals, to take over that country in order to use their raw materials to benefit the people, right? It's early days yet. It could all go belly up and it could go awfully wrong. But how much worse could it be? How much worse could it be? How much worse? How much worse can it be than the previous government siphoning off the raw materials, the wealth of the country, and allowing the French to remove it and take it back to France? You can't get worse than that. It's very difficult to get worse than that. So at this moment in time, honestly, I've never been prouder to actually say, and remember, I discovered that I had Burkina Faso DNA 50% before this young man took power in Burkina Faso and gave his country back to the people. Right. So I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I'm saying that to say I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I'm saying to say I'm not a bandwagon jumper, man. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. Adangbi writes, I believe the new president has good intentions for the country. Yeah, he's got good intentions, but Adangbi, I do agree with you. I agree with you. You know, good intentions don't put food in the bellies of babies. It doesn't. Good intentions don't put food in the bellies of babies. What I want to see this new government doing is exactly what he said. That's number one. And it's going to be a hard road because obviously France, let alone the other Western countries, do not want young upstarts to come and have coups and give anything back to the people. That is the last thing that France or any other European country wants. That is the last thing. So can you imagine us living in these countries, right? These European countries, right? If they don't mean countries like Burkina Faso or any other of these West African countries well, what makes us think us living here is going to be any better for us? Seriously. That is one of the reasons why I want to leave, if I'm honest. Aaron B writes, I only understand tree, but don't know how to speak it. God, if you understand it, man, then you're better off than I am. If you understand it, then you are absolutely a hell of a lot better off than I am. I've got to say this though, another thing that I discovered when I was doing those tree lessons. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But another thing that I discovered is that there's a lot of words in tree that are the same words in Jamaican, right? And there was me, you know, growing up thinking that a lot of those Jamaican words were nothing more than slang, right? One word is the word uno, right? So the way you would use it is unawanta beating, right? Unawanta, basically you lot want a beating, you lot want a kicking, right? You lot want a kicking, right? So that word uno, it just means you lot, you know, talking about a group, in reference to a group. Right. So, and that's the exact same, as I understand it, that's the exact same, that's the meaning in tree as well. Tree. Right. So I found that, and I learned that through the lessons that I took. Right. So I found that really, really, really interesting. And there's other words as well that have the same meaning. So that taught me that all of those words that I thought were slang in Jamaican or pidgin English, no, it's not. These are words from Nigeria. These are words from Ghana. That is what I learned. And honestly, it blew my, I just thought, wow. And I'm going to make an assumption that not even Jamaicans know that that's the case. Well, some do, obviously, but a lot simply do not. A lot don't. So, the Jamaican motto is out of many, one people. That's the Jamaican motto, right? And it's true because, you've got Nigerian words in the language, you've got Ghanaian words in the language, and no doubt you've got other words from other West African countries in the language as well. Interesting. I just found it interesting. And I haven't even mentioned the Edo people in Nigeria. and the connection with Japan. I've just found that one out, but that's but that's one for another. That's one for another live, right? I did say it. The Edo tribe. I don't nation. I don't like the word tribe. The Edo people in Nigeria. For those of you that don't know, I read somewhere. Actually, I didn't read it. I saw it on a YouTuber, a few different YouTuber channels, whatever, history channels, that Japan used to be called Edo, A-D-U, right? That was the original name of Japan, right? So when you do the research about Japan, right, there's a lot of similarities between Japan in terms of language, in terms of DNA, a lot that they have in common with the Edo tribe in Nigeria. Do your own research about that one. And it might be one that we may want to talk about at some point. Before we leave, Adambi writes, Maroon Languages Part 3. Yeah, it is. Seriously, man. Amazing. Dangby also writes, Aki, Aki Saltfish, is Aki pronounced Aki? Sorry, let's look at that one again. Aki Saltfish, is Aki pronounced Aki? I don't know. I have no idea. Dangby, I don't know. You'd have to go onto YouTube and see. There's a whole heap of people doing Jamaican pronunciations on YouTube. Dangby writes, Edo period in Japan. Yeah, that's right. But do the research. Look, go and do your own research. I'm not going to say any more. But the connection between the Edo people in Nigeria, right, and Japan, I couldn't believe it when I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Personally, I couldn't believe it at my age, and I've just found that out. Crazy. I've got a friend, a Nigerian friend, right, Edo. Right, from that part of Nigeria, his surname is Sakiyama. That's his surname. And it's only recently, it's only just this week I thought, in fact, he said that, yes, that is a Japanese name, you know, and that's his family name, you know. Interesting. But anyway, with that, I'll leave you with that to ponder, right? Gone completely off track, but you know, it's all good, man. The conversation's all good. Listen, it'd be great to have some of you guys up at some point. But anyway, without, on that note, I'm going to say sayonara. I don't know if that's Japanese or not. But guys, catch me on the next one tomorrow. I've got to make an effort to try and be more regular with the lives. I will make an effort. But guys, listen, it's been a great conversation. Hopefully you got something out of the stream. I'm going to do clips from this and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Easy.